Now, Elsa, for those that don't know, you were the press secretary to the Queen until 2001, until the end of 2013.
Yep.
And there have been the stories you've got to tell us today, we have been gripped by since you walked into our newsroom a couple of hours ago. And it's just, jubilees, birthdays, holidays, walks up Balmoral.
Well, even that photo we were seeing there, apparently there's a bit of a story, isn't there?
Oh, my gosh. So that was an investiture. I was given the Royal Victorian Order by the Queen, and I was actually 3 months pregnant. And what I was really worried about was trying not to puke over Her Majesty, because I thought that'd be quite career limiting.
Definitely.
When you say quite career limiting.
Did Her Majesty know that you were pregnant at the time? She did know.
She did know, yes. She was very, very kind about it.
What was your relationship like? Because obviously we're on the outside looking in, but you're on the inside. Were you quite close?
You're looking at us.
I am looking at you.
You were looking at the media, yeah.
Yes, but she was the monarch. There wasn't a day that went by when I wasn't, completely bowled over about the job and the privilege that I had with working for her. I mean, she was the most extraordinary human being. And everything you hear about her and you see she was like that. She was incredibly compassionate. It wasn't about self, it was about duty, it was about the nation, it was about the people. And I think what I really found, that even if she went on an engagement which was quite low-key, whether it's an opening of a library, she would always come back and have something to say about it.
Yeah.
Whether someone had said something interesting or she'd seen something, or, a curtain had fallen down when she was doing a plaque unveiling. I mean, she always found interesting something about an engagement, which I think is quite extraordinary when you're on the phone for 70 years.
Of course. And you had, you've got kids, and you had kids when the Queen was alive. What's it like for them to have mum working for the Queen? It's got to be crazy to get your head around, right?
Well, I don't think so. I remember, they're more interested. I remember coming home after an event, and my son, Henry, who was only about 8 or 9, had seen me on TV, and he said, "Hi, Mum, saw you on telly, what's for supper?" And that's quite grounding, I think.
We have a picture of that event, don't we? Because this is the event of you having the duty of placing the official notification of someone's birth.
Oh, look at you!
Haven't changed a bit, have I? Really?
Wow.
So this is 2013? Just before you left?
Yeah.
And this is you announcing the birth of Prince George.
Oh, Prince George, that was amazing, yeah.
Who turned 12 this week, so...
Yeah. I mean, you have a crazy job, because we can see the flashes of the cameras there, but you must have just been like a sea of both domestic and international cameras just on you to do that one bit.
It was quite...
Was it like, don't drop it, don't drop it,
It was, and it's a historical frame as well. And, of course, we're used to being behind the cameras. We're briefing, we're with the media. We're not used to being in front of the cameras. So it was quite a different role for me. When I was asked for my autograph in Sainsbury's, I thought, I've made it now. That's it.
Oh.
Yep.
Now, what some of our non-UK listeners, viewers may not really be able to get their head around where Balmoral is concerned. So the Queen did come across regular members of the public on her walks, didn't she?
And in fact, the Queen told me I think the most hilarious story of her walking on the Balmoral estate. And it's quite stark, isn't it? It's, and
it's very Scottish and mountainous.
It's very Scottish.
Yes.
Funny that, being as Scotland.
How very dare you. So she's walking with her protection officer, and walking towards her were a group of American tourists. And these tourists stopped them. And I can't do an accent, so I do apologise. And said, "Have either of you met the Queen before? This is her estate."
Said that to the Queen?
Said that to the Queen. And the Queen, quick as a flash, pointed to her protection officer and said, "Well, he has." And these American tourists said, oh my God, here's our camera. Would you mind taking a photograph of us with him? No. And they handed the Queen their camera, and she took the photograph. She loved that story, clearly.
I mean, I suppose the Queen must have loved it whenever anyone didn't recognise her, because that must have been so rare.
I mean, it's quite an interesting job that you had in the first place, sort of being, behind the scenes in the palace. And I imagine that when it came to things like state dinners and what have you, were you with the Queen when she was working out, I don't know, okaying the menu, okaying the setting?
Yeah, she could spot a fork that was in the wrong place through 100 paces, or a flower that was wilting. She was, those state visits were absolutely extraordinary. And I remember President Obama's state visit, the first one, and we were in a pre-lunch reception with him, and the Queen, and I could see out of the corner of my eye the Queen walking towards sort of our group, and I thought, I wonder who the Queen is introducing him to. And she came over and she said, Mr. President, this is my press secretary. Her husband served in the Navy, and he started chatting to me about military. And you just think, what an incredibly generous thing and gift that the Queen has just given to me. And I just had to pinch myself, thinking, the Queen has just introduced President Obama to me. That's a bit sort of...
That's
pretty
cool.
special. That's pretty special.
I always tell the story that I made President Obama laugh once. So that's...
Are you sure it was you?
It was definitely
Was it at you or with you?
Well, it was at a press conference when he was in the UK. I was a political journalist at the time, and I was the first person to ask a question. The question everyone wanted to ask is, if the UK votes for Brexit, would we go to the back of the line? So that phrase that he said, the UK would go to the back of the queue, were you to vote for Brexit, came from my question. But the question started off with a funny joke about everyone saying you should not stick your nose into our affairs, and he laughed.
I think he's trying to trump your story.
Oh.
I'll get my coat.
He really was, though.
He really was.
Yeah.
No, I think it has... No.
I don't even think Elsa even finished telling.
That's much better.